Want to start a product or a fashion brand? Watch this video first because this is everything that I wish someone had told me before I started my very own fashion brand. Hi friends and future founders. This video is for you if you've ever thought, I want to start my own product business. Maybe you're like me and been wanting to start a fashion brand, but you have no idea where to even begin. Same. Honestly, same. But that's the whole point of this series. I'm building a fashion brand from scratch. No fashion degree, no big team, just me. And I'm documenting everything so you don't have to figure it out alone. Today's video is all about the first real steps you can take in order to start your own product brand or your own fashion brand. And I'm not talking about just the fluffy stuff, but we're talking about purpose, branding, design prep, and real-world things that you will actually need in order to get started. With that said, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Idea to intent. What's your why? Now I know that it's super tempting to just jump into the design, the logo, the colors, but we need to take a second and pause before you even think about fabric or logos or mood boards. Pause and breathe. Because why are you starting your brand in the first place? This matters more than anything else. Some people start brands to build a global empire. Others just want to create something meaningful to connect with other people, even if it stays small and niche. Both are equally valid, but knowing where you stand will help with a lot of the decision-making process that you will encounter later. Ask yourself, are you creating a product you wish existed? Are you doing this for creative freedom? Or do you want something more artisanal and purposeful? For me, I've always wanted to create the brand that I needed ever since I was a little girl. Growing up, people around me have always told me that they could never really understand my sense of style, that the clothes I chose confused them. And I guess that's just because I really liked many different aesthetics and I couldn't really just stick to one lane, which I didn't understand at that time, but now that I think about it, it's actually quite rare. Just look around at all your friend groups and I think you might start to realize a pattern where certain friends might have a certain dressing style and usually they'll keep within that style. So for example, if Stacy, she's always known to wear jerseys, athleisure, you would notice that she usually sticks within this realm of comfort dressing. And she might venture out occasionally, but for the most part, her wardrobe is pretty predictable. And that's the case with all of my friends. They each already had their own distinct, established style. And I guess it was just very hard for me to find brand or pieces that felt perfectly me. Elegant, yet bold, classy and romantic. And I'm not saying this in a way where it's like, oh, my style is much better than everyone else's out there, because I truly believe that everyone has their own sense of style, and for some it's much easier to find pieces. And for some, certain pieces of that style are much more accessible. And for others, I think that there's much more room for growth and innovation. Fashion has always felt like a love letter to my identity. And I wanted to build something that wasn't just clothes, but a feeling, something beautiful, something aspirational. But at the same time still real, you know? Your why doesn't have to be perfect yet, but having a reason will guide every decision after this. Chapter 2. Who are you creating for? Next up is your ideal customer. And no, this doesn't need to be some scary marketing thing. It's just about connection. Also, I've written down some notes on my iPad, so if you see me glancing down or to the side, this is what I'm looking at, because this is everything that I've learned for the past 3 months, and I just want to make sure that I get across the message to all of you guys without missing anything. So you want to think of the person who would absolutely love your brand. Who are they? What do they care about? What do they wish existed? Are they Pinterest core girls who are building their capsule wardrobes? Are they tired of the everyday fast fashion and want something more timeless and sexy? Do they wish someone made high-end clothes without all the gatekeeping? And honestly, if you have no idea where to start, you can just start with yourself. That's what I did. It took me a while to see and really understand it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person in this world that's trying to find a piece of clothing that just feels like art, where the brand itself just transports you into this world and into this story that only exists in this space. Just a one-of-a-kind brand that touches your soul and ignites your true self. I built my ideal customer avatar by asking myself, what problems do I face when I go shopping? What kind of brand would make me feel seen? Once you understand who you're designing for, you'll be able to speak to them in your visuals, your content, your packaging, everything. In fact, I've only just recently started thinking about this because as you can probably tell, planning for a brand is a lot of deep and intentional work. Or at least is the way I am going about it. So I can do a whole other video on packaging and visuals alone. So if you're interested in that, just leave a comment down below and I'll remember to make a video on that, on everything that I've learned as well as my own aesthetics and the visuals that I've decided on. Chapter 3, Concept to Aesthetic, aka Brand Vibes 101. Now we get a little bit to the fun part. Here's a little portion of this mountain of a task that you can do to help get your mind clear on the kind of visuals and mood that your target customer would like. And as I said before, this might be a very long process, so don't beat yourself up over the fact that it is taking much longer than expected. Just remember that you can always go back and refine it, which is exactly what I'm doing. So as a first step, you now know who you're wanting to create for. Now you can start building a world for them to step into. Because your brand isn't just a logo, it's a feeling. Your tone, your color palette, your lifestyle, your mood. There's so much things that go into branding alone. So here's what helped me get started. I started a mood board for my ideal brand story. And I kind of just created a vision board for everything that I felt represented my brand. A lot of people would just stop at pictures, but for me, I included everything. Songs, films, music genres, books, art, even pictures of my own. Just everything that evokes the feeling that I want my brand to convey. And slowly, piece by piece, the image and message that you want your brand to convey will slowly become clearer over time. From there, I was able to build a brand mood board that truly felt like something I resonated with because it came from pieces of inspiration that spoke out to me. And they are things that I hope to convey through my pieces, through my art, through my brand messaging. All this even before I even had a brand name, which, speaking of, Chapter 4, Naming Your Brand. Don't overthink it, but also think about it. Yes, the dreaded brand naming phase. Listen. Don't pressure yourself into finding the perfect name on day one. Just think about what you want your name to represent. Do you want it to feel high-end, playful, approachable, modern, ethereal? Here are some tips if you're struggling with your brand name. First, keep it easy to say and spell. You can Google it to make sure it's not taken. For example, you can check the Instagram, the domain name, or different trademarks that you might need. You can try adding other extensions like studio, fashion, or even like the place where you're located, like London or Italy. You can even run it through ChatGPT for inspiration. I honestly had a running list of like 20 name ideas. I even asked my boyfriend which ones he would think would be a good fit for my brand. And surprisingly, he actually helped me narrow down and eventually finalize the top few contenders of my brand name. So never underestimate your loved ones and what they think, because of course, the final decision of your brand name is up to you and you get to make the final say of what you want to call your brand. But when you're stuck between a few names like I was, asking someone who knows you wholeheartedly and understands what you're trying to build, it can really provide a lot of clarity or might even spark new ideas. So yes, never underestimate asking for opinions. Eventually for me, one name just kind of clicked. And when it did, it was very exciting and it made everything falling into place much easier. Like the brand visuals and the messaging, everything just started to look like the picture was slowly getting complete. I haven't announced the name of the brand that I've decided on, but I'm hoping to make the reveal soon, so stay tuned for that. Chapter 5, Visual Identity. Now, I personally wouldn't spend too much time on this initially, just like before with the packaging and the visuals. Sometimes this does take time to evolve, and you definitely don't have to nail it right on the head the first time. I think identity is something that you should give space to evolve, because eventually that is how your brand grows. Even the biggest brands in the world sometimes go through rebrands when they feel like they've entered a new era. So yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on this at first, but as a start, once you've got a name, you can start trying to bring your brand to life visually. And this doesn't mean you need to hire some expensive branding agency. You can literally start with just a DIY logo on Canva, pick 2 to 3 brand colors and your brand fonts. Remember, done is much better than perfect. You just have to make it exist first, and then you can make it good later. You will evolve as your branding and your business grows, but you still need a starting point. A bonus tip is to consider the emotions that your visuals evoke. Does it feel luxe, nostalgic, cool? Use that to guide your choices. And as your brand grows, you can make the changes along the way. I'm still trying to figure this all out with my own brand, so if you like to see the real behind the scenes of trying to build a brand visual identity, or you have any questions regarding this process, just leave it in the comments below. I would love to do a video taking you through my entire process and sharing everything that I've learned, all the mistakes I've made. Chapter 6. Design, mood boards, and first product planning. Okay, so now we're diving into the design side. Start by doing a product design mood board. So you can save cuts, fabric silhouettes, even different runway details that you love. If you can draw, amazing. Start sketching. If you can't, you can either learn or you can work with a freelance designer, or this is a big tip that I've learned. Some manufacturers offer design services in a package. And personally, I think that this is a pretty good deal. It might be pricier than working with a freelancer, but if you're certain that this is a manufacturer that you trust and that you want to work with, having everything done with a partner that you trust can help speed up the process a whole lot, because they will get your vision quickly, because you're constantly going back and forth with them during the entire design phase. So by the time you've reached production, you wouldn't have to reiterate all your details and decisions to the new factory, because you would have already done that in the design phase. For me personally, I actually have a digital art background, so I'm quite familiar with pens and pencils, or even drawing on my iPad. Though I don't usually draw fashion illustrations or tech packs, but the learning curve is definitely much easier when you have some sort of drawing experience. I think I'll probably do an entire video of how to get your ideas from your head onto paper, because that is a whole other battle to fight. So if you're interested and would like to see that, leave a comment down below and I'll remember to film that. Next, you have to think, what kind of product do I want to launch first? What problem does it solve? How will it stand out? For example, are you starting with a capsule collection of timeless essentials, elevated basics with a sexy edge? Your first product is your introduction. Make it count, but don't overthink it. You improve with every drop. Chapter 7. Prepping your tech pack. Before you even start contacting a manufacturer, you must have something to show them. For me, I'm currently making tech packs of the designs that I would like to get made. And a tech pack is basically just a document with all the details and specifics of the garment that you would like to make. It includes sketches, descriptions, fabric inspirations, measurements, visual references, just everything about the vibe, fit, and the styling. Even if it's scrappy, having this helps your manufacturer understand your vision. Chapter 8. What comes next? Once you have your concept, your product idea, your mood board, and your brand look, you're ready to move into the production phase. That's finding manufacturers, sampling and fittings, adjusting and prototyping, launch planning, and of course, content creation in order to build your brand awareness. Now this can go on into a whole other video because there's just so much to cover, but if you're just starting out, know this. You don't need a degree in fashion. You just need a point of view, a product, and the courage to start. Starting a product business sounds glamorous, and it can be, but it's also a lot of figuring things out as you go along. There will be delays, doubts, spirals at 2 a.m. But there will also be the moments where your sample finally arrives, or the first time someone buys your product. The pride that comes from building something from absolutely nothing. You don't have to do it all today, but you can just take one small step, and then another, and then another. If you're serious about building your own product brand, your own business, even if you're starting with zero experience, then you're in the right place. Because I'm building mine too, and I plan on sharing everything I've learned along the way. If this video has helped or inspired you, don't forget to like and comment down your brand idea below, because I would love to cheer you on and support you. And don't forget to subscribe to be notified when the next video goes up, because trust me, there's a lot of good stuff coming your way. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to go on this entire journey of being a founder with you. Let's build something beautiful together. Until next time, take care of your heart, your mind, and your dreams. I'll see you in the next video very soon.